All right, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk with the Morel Brothers. Uh, Today, we have a topic of discussion that is very important. I am your host, Craig. This is um, Reem, aka King, aka you did say you change every week.
Daddy, man.
Okay, all right, Daddy. We have Don, and then we have a special guest, Trevor. Friends call him T.
What's up?
So we have T on the set today. Today's topic, guys, we're gonna talk about how to protect our children from perversion in a society that is super sexualized. So today's topic we're gonna kind of dig into how to protect our children, and I think my wife had a very interesting take on it, um, because I asked her before we started this. I said, "Hey, babe, what do you think about this? How do we protect our children?" And she's like, "We can't. The best we can do is to minimize it." So, guys, this is the topic of discussion for today, and and I'm gonna let Trevor, my guy, T,
Yo,
take the stage today, and you give me your opinion on this.
well, I mean, when we look at the matter of our children, right, we want our children to be protected at all times. When we're around them, when we're not around them. So, in this day and age, I think a lot has to do with uh, the outside influences in the world and also, what goes on in the home. I think when it comes to our children, when being exported to things, in this world, it can change them, you know, being your harmless child, your baby, to, saying things and doing things that you're not used to. And it's because of an outside influence. Um, Also, there's a lot of sexualizing of our children going on, right? So you got in schools that they're teaching all kind of stuff that goes against the Most High's commandments. And I feel like us as parents, a lot of that is our responsibility, to teach our children the commandments. Because once they get to a certain age where they can understand the commandments, this is when sin starts being counted for,
Right.
right? So we got to understand that we have to basically give our children the tools they need. You know what I mean? And when they get out here in the world, we pray that they make the right decisions.
Right.
It's hard to like keep your children away from things in this world, mainly because it's everywhere. I mean, they promote all kind of things, different TV shows, movies, things like that. So it's hard to shield our children's eyes. Most of the time now, our children are growing up seeing things that we didn't experience or see until we were adults or damn near adults. But now our children are seeing things before their mind is developed and before they're getting a true understanding of even what they're looking at or what they reading or what they see out here. So there's definitely a perversion of mind when it comes to children. But our children have to understand something too. When they understand what they're doing, whether right from wrong, if they don't have a good background with their parents, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna make that mistake.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's a different upbringing. It's a different time in this world because technology is basically in the forefront of our children's future,
Right. Right.
more
So
so than what we grew up on.
right.
You know?
So I have experienced like perversion to the next level,
Right.
right? And I'm not gonna call out the social media site which I was on. You know, it's a very popular social media site that pretty much everybody in the world uses to keep track of their friends and you know
I mean, you
message
giving it away, but
people
that's all
and,
right. Right?
and you know what I mean. But I was on that site and it came up on my feed.
Nah.
It came up on my feed and it was like literal porn, right?
Right.
I'm like and I'm like when I saw it on my feed, I was like, what the hell is this? So I reached out to the administrator of that social media site
Huh.
and I reported it. And I was like, hey, look, this is sexually not right for this social media site.
Right.
And about 3 or 4 days later, they reached back out to me and it was like, oh, well, this is the advertisement. They're well within their
Hmm.
in the advertisement state. And I was like, wait. So wait. So it's okay to have literal porn on your as an advertisement
Right.
on your social media
But
platform,
right. Right. It's not a
right?
page.
But it's not a page. However, it's still sexually charged, right?
Right.
And it was like literal. I mean, you see naked men, naked women doing.
Not to defend the
Yeah, I mean,
not to
not to
defend the
defend. Okay,
site, but at some point you had to have searched
no,
something
no,
of
no,
a
no, no, no,
sexual
no,
nature
no.
for that
It
porn
was not.
to
It was not a set. So the ad was
from
for.
the algorithms.
Yeah,
It's already
no,
it's
no. So, so here,
coming to hunt you right now.
here's what it
But
is.
keep going.
So it's
So,
male enhancement, right?
right.
So male enhancement supplements it's a broad spectrum, right? So
Okay.
whatever comes up, it comes up. But I was like, hey, no, this is not cool. This is not right.
Hmm.
To my point. But you guys took the the point and trying to, and that's what the justice system do to people. Just to be just to put that into perspective, right?
Devil's advocate.
Right, devil's advocate. Oh yeah. You use my words to do this.
Well,
But anyways, back on topic. They said, "Oh well, it's just an advertisement. They're well within their realm." But no, it's sexually charged. Sexually, if you're not going to promote it, don't.
Right.
Okay.
Don't find a loophole to say, well, it's okay.
Right.
It is my point.
But
I
see,
got you. I got you.
like, I get what you're saying, most definitely. And it's a shame because, our children are being introduced to sex before they understand what it really means. And they end up making a lot of bad decisions,
And so
Yeah.
this is getting back to the question at hand: how do we protect our children?
Right. Right.
As parents, you have to be willing to have that conversation and give them the knowledge that you have so they have some type of understanding from someone who's looking to protect them
Right.
rather than your friend in school or your teacher who's just doing a school curriculum. You know what I mean? if if you're not afraid to have that conversation and say, hey, this is what's going on when they come ask you rather than shying away and being like, oh, you too young. If your kid is asking, something happened to cause them to ask. So why not explain it?
Right. I do agree with that. I feel as though with children, they're looking for confirmation from their moms and their dads. Uh, and I feel like as parents, we should make sure that our children know that they can come to us with everything.
Right?
You know,
Don't embarrass.
right? Because we were children as well. We all know the different feelings and emotions we went through as kids as well. Because in our generation, we were being introduced to a lot of new stuff.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's important, I think, that, we have these conversations with our kids once they get to that age of understanding now. There's not a specific age in the Bible, right? But you'll know. You see what I'm saying? As a parent, if you're the one disciplining your child, that they understand the right from wrong. And then from that point on, obedience is the best thing we can give our children, right? To keep the commandments and do what the Lord say. Now, of course, all of that has to be tested. once you get out here in the world. You see what I'm saying? But I think we need to give our children the tools that they need. Reiterating what your bro said, we gotta make sure we give our children the tools because there's so many traps, especially for kids, and they're vulnerable. Like I said, they still growing, so it's easy for them to get swindled or trust falling in the right person, believe the wrong things. I mean, the list goes on. We think about the mistakes we made as when we were coming up, and at our age, we could look back and reflect and say, "Damn,
I made a lot of mistakes.
damn." Right? But what kept us alive today was those things that our parents taught us, where to go back to. We always got that word to go back to. In times where we not understanding, all the understanding is right there.
So I believe, and you're right. It's up to us as parents to give our children the game,
Right. All of
so
it.
so to speak, right?
All of it. We can't
So
be
so
shy
to,
with it.
to to teach our kids, you know, hey, from the lessons that we learned as children,
Right.
because uh, I mean, a lot of the things that we learn, I mean, we could improve upon it from what our parents taught us, right? Because no lesson is set in stone, and everything in life can be improved upon,
Right.
right? As because just like my parents, they they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have pagers, they didn't have. I mean, they barely had television,
Mhm.
growing up, right?
Right.
And
They did have
I
to.
mean, and that's why they had so many kids.
The
My
thing
mom had
is,
six.
when you tell
So they had to find ways to entertain themselves.
Right.
nope.
But the
So,
lessons that they learned,
right.
from their parents,
Right.
they improved upon it and they taught it to us as
Right.
kids.
So that's the thing. We want to keep passing the torch. You see what I'm saying? Because if we don't keep passing the torch, the world is gonna take your children,
They're gonna eat them and spit them
and they're
out.
gonna eat them up, and they're gonna spit them back out at you.
So hold that thought.
Yeah.
T, my guy. Don, you've been super quiet. It's been 12 minutes and 36 seconds. And I have not heard a word from you so far.
Yes,
So
you
I,
have.
I heard you ridicule it. I heard you ridicule it with the old,
I'm
the
just,
old, the.
I'm just soaking up everything everybody's
I
saying.
mean
So,
the old,
uh,
you know.
I totally understand where everybody's point of view, especially what your wife said. You can't. So, no matter what you do, whatever safeguard you may think you put up, that child is going to become an adult,
That child has friends.
so and friends and everything else. So what I think, I don't have children, so maybe that's why I'm not uh, speaking up or voicing my opinion. But I personally think if I do ever have children, um, you have to have safeguards, and you have to have you got to understand your child, and you got to understand when the time is right to expose them with certain things, like for instance, social media. I believe if I have children, I'm not letting you on social media until you're about 14, 15.
Ooh, that's a
You
that's a
know,
that's a tough road to climb.
it's
It's
gonna
a
be
tough hill.
very tough, but as a parent, you got to understand your child. And if you understand your child, then your child will understand you.
Right.
Because my mom understood who I was. I mean, I'm just throwing a number out there. I'm not saying that's set in stone. I'm just throwing that out there. So don't believe I'm a dictator. People out there, y'all terrible. Y'all know y'all go back and say stuff. But what I'm saying is, you got to understand your child so you know when that child is ready to be exposed to certain things in life, and you coach them along the way, right? So when you expose them to social media, you be on social media with them.
Right. We
You know what I'm
gotta make
saying?
sure that we walk
So
this.
so you doing it with them because it's there. So you got to explain it to them. You got to explain the benefits and the things that's going to be pitfalls.
Just to
So, right?
just to piggyback off of what he said, like we can't expect our children, right, to walk in light if we walk it in darkness. So
Right.
we gotta be that example that they see. You see what I'm saying? Because I see a lot but the things that's going on with our children is because either the parents are not involved, right, or they just don't care and they doing their own thing.
Right.
And it's like when you're not keeping the laws of the Most High, you bring curses upon yourself.
True.
Right. And then they go down to your children because you're still doing the same things. You gotta, as a parent, you have to execute everything, but you have to stand by everything you execute if it comes to, your household and your children. Because there's a lot of people who they don't want to deal with their own kids. You see what I'm saying? They love them, they dress them up, they take them here, take them down. But when it comes to parenting, they don't want to do that. They want their time to be their time. They want their kids to leave them the hell alone. Listen, if you are fortunate and blessed to have children, right? The Most High gave you those children, right? So you have to do your job and understand that it's things that you also need to teach them because if you don't teach them right, then what's gonna happen is the world gonna teach your children, and the world don't care about your children. You see what I'm saying? And so we got to make sure that we give our children the tools that they need when they come across these things that they see as perversions and they see as sexual immorality and they see, different things popping up. If we have been on our children and teaching them, they'll be able to see these
Right.
things and make the right choices. Well, at least know the right choice to make.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, you're right about that. And Reen, when I sent you this topic, you were 100% ready to have it, and in your comments to me, you was like, man, I see a lot of social media, you know,
Right.
people out there, using their kids for clout.
Absolutely.
Man.
You know,
Weirdos.
so
Man.
I want to hear your opinion on this. So I mean, why do you think people do this? What I mean, tell me. What's your what got you in that mindset?
I mean, if
Because it's
if
true. I'm
if
gonna take a sip on that.
yeah, I
You
mean,
weirdos out there. I'm watching y'all.
so
It's coming, don't you worry.
the
Oh,
likes,
my bad.
the likes and shares and going viral, it's a dopamine hit,
Yeah,
Right.
ain't it?
Right.
and once you get one thing to go viral, you're constantly looking. And everybody knows that if you put a kid in front of a camera and let the kid do something, people are going to gravitate to the children.
Right.
Right.
So when you get it, and then now you got to one up what you last did.
Right. So I got a thought on that, but finish your statement.
I got a thought too. I got a
So
thought too.
the constant, trying to one up the last one to make sure that you're continuing to go viral. I think that's adding to
Right.
the over sexualizations, and
Right.
unfortunately you see it on a lot of female pages.
Right.
Like, there's no way you should have a 2-year-old dressed as your twin with their butt cheeks out.
That's the same. Wait. So hold on. I think. Hold on. I think that's the same video that I showed you to you that was like, what are we doing as people?
Right.
Right.
Weird, bro.
That's why I say we're
It's
not
weird.
giving our
Like,
children the tools.
we're supposed to be protecting our children.
Right.
We know in the darker recesses of the internet, there's people that's looking at children.
Predators.
And
Predators.
so the fact that we're so willing to put our children in that light specifically and then putting it on the internet where everything is forever, no matter if you delete it or not,
Right.
because now it's just data
Bro.
and you can pull it up. So it's like, how do you balance it?
It's weird. So I don't want to cut. I don't want to cut y'all off, but the things that as a child that I remember the most is those special moments on Sunday mornings. Me and my dad, we turn it on WWF and you
It's
got
WCW.
WCW, you got Sting,
Yeah.
and you got Ultimate Warrior. and you got Ric Flair, and I'm getting slammed on the bed, and those moments was between me and my dad, and that was special to me.
Right.
And here's what people are doing now, and that's what's really bothering to me. That really bothers me. Excuse me.
Well,
Is
I wanna piggyback
one
this
second.
off.
What is bothering me is it's taking away those special moments from those you and your child. You don't have any special moments because everybody sees it.
Yeah,
You can't grow. If you don't
absolutely.
have nothing that's special that you and a person could grow,
Can share together.
then
Yeah,
it don't make sense,
that's
right?
right. Right.
In any relationship. And
Right.
that's why you have these children strained because you don't have that connection with your parents because you're out there on the real.
And that's real. No pun intended. Trevor.
Well, I was just going, you know, basically touch on what you're saying, like children are given two parents for a reason, right? They mom and they dad. Um, I think a lot of the reason of the sexualization in our children as well is one parent is missing, one or the other. In this world, you need both parents, right? Because a woman can't teach a man everything, and a man can't teach a woman everything when it comes to their children. So they really need both sides, both mother and father, to have an understanding and a good balance in their life as far as making decisions. Now, a lot of our youth growing up was robbed of that in some kind of way. See what I'm saying? So they're only getting instruction from one person, and if this one person is not doing what the Most High say, right, then they're basically destroying their children before they have a chance. And I think that we need to empower our children. We need to make sure that they have the tools necessary to survive in the world. They don't, you see what I'm saying? Don't operate on the same terms.
Right.
Like anything that is evil is being promoted, whether it's on social media, television shows, it's out here. Gay stuff going on. You got uh, murder. I mean, suicide. The kids are seeing all this stuff, right? On regular TV. I'm not even talking about the internet
Right.
right now, just regular TV. And when you add the internet to this, now you have access to all kind of stuff, right? And if you're not monitoring your children, if you're not keeping commandments yourself, right, then you're only dooming your future generation. So I feel like we need to, as parents, when it comes to our children, make sure they know the law. Make sure that they know before they get out here in this world, because uh, it's tough out here. Especially for our young girls. I mean, our young girls have been sexualized for a long time, and they don't understand the history of that because it goes further before our parents. You know what I'm saying? And our parents. Like a lot of what you see in us today is basically the last 4 years been pushing us in a certain direction. Last 40 years.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Because we got to think, okay, what can we leave our next generation with? You see what I'm saying? Because we can look at our parents and say, okay, our parents did this and that, they left us with this. Then we can look at our parents and say, okay, they did this, they did that. That's what's up. Well, what's going to happen 50 years from now, right? 60 years from now, when that generation look back at ours, what did we leave them?
Right. That makes perfect
What
sense.
did we give them? Because if we don't leave nothing for them, they ain't got nothing to go into their future with. I mean, if you look at how chill we done became as people, that should bother your spirit a little bit, right? Because we still live in a world that hates us. You see what I'm saying? We still get up every day, go out here and do what we have to do, knowing that nobody give a damn about us. So why just sit there and let these things continue to happen? You have to be able to rise above whatever's in front of you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So in a nutshell,
Right,
so in a nutshell, we have to say, hey, you know what? Us as parents need to be more involved with our children.
definitely.
Us as parents need to teach our children. Us as parents need to be involved with our kids. Us as parents need to say, hey, what are you doing today? Us as parents need to say, hey, how was your day? What happened today?
Right,
And we need to have a sit down and have an open dialogue with our
right.
kids.
You got to be real with your kids because this is a real world.
Not absolutely.
Like when they step out of this house, their comfort zone or wherever they live, they're in the world. You see what I'm saying? So we have to make sure that our children understand this. Like you can't go out here as a kid and have understanding, right? But choose not to obey and be obedient and expect things not to happen to you.
Right.
Like eventually they will. And we pray that our children understand that, right? Because it's too much that's going on in the world today. It's just way too much. And they hungry for our children. They want our kids.
Absolutely.
They want to snatch them from us from the womb. You see what I'm saying? So if we are not gonna protect our kids,
Who will?
who will? So, you know, to summarize on what I'm saying, we got to get more involved. And instead of asking them questions like, how you doing? Teach them. Say, hey, have you learned about this or that? Well, I know a little bit that, or I know a little bit. Sit down with me. I'm finna go through the whole thing with you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we have to like really, in this, because we got to think, okay, in the schools, right? Public schools, your children only being taught what they want them to teach, right? They're not being taught those tools that they need as people for their spirit.
Right.
They are taught
To be a good
tools
person.
to be
To be productive
right
people
right
in society.
into in society, how to fit in this
Right.
society.
How to fit in.
That's what they're gonna teach you.
Right.
So it's your responsibility to make sure that your child is getting spiritual teaching. You see what I'm saying? And I think that that part we have been lacking in as people, and we see it in our young people. You see, because you got to think about it: drugs, alcohol, all this stuff was introduced to us when we were young,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned most of it by what we watched. And that was the time we didn't have social media,
Right.
right? But we look up to these people because we seen them, and this is the image that they gave us, right? So what image are we giving our children? It's the same thing. And at this point, they out of control. So what are we gonna do as parents is the question. What are we gonna do to make sure that our children can leave something behind when they get our age?
Right. So for me, um, I try to sit down with my kids and talk.
Right.
There's situations in my own personal life where I've made mistakes with my children and I'm still paying for those mistakes, right? But as a young black man, I'm getting ready to be 43 years old. I have learned that having a time where I can sit and talk to my children and and try to figure out what's going on in their heads because they're not going to tell you what's going on in their heads. You have to literally
Right.
take a fork and dig
Right.
to figure out what's going on in their heads.
Right. Right.
But I try to make time to
You gotta do
to
it.
to be a dad because that's what being a father to your
Right.
children is, right?
Protect them.
It's to sit down and try to figure out, hey, what's going on with you today?
Right, because you as a father, right? As you're a protector, right? But are you just a protector of their physical bodies?
Absolutely not.
You just protect them from
Right.
getting hurt? No, you are their protector of their spirit as well. You see what I'm saying? So we got to make sure, like I said, as parents, we have to install things in our children because, like, they can instantly look something up and hit download, and it's in
And
front of
it's in
them,
front of them. Yeah,
right? So we got to give our children the download as well.
that's right. So, Rain, as a new parent, what's your game plan?
The game plan is still in development.
Right.
I mean, to
As it's been, what's the game?
be a good
plan?
coach,
That's tough.
you have to be able to adapt on the fly.
Right.
That's tough.
So to say I have one specific game plan would be a disservice to myself.
And to your son?
I mean, at the moment, currently, no, it's not a disservice to him because right now his routine is set for the stage that he's in his life.
Right.
It's a deterrent to me because now I'm putting myself in a box
Right.
rather than being open and available to all the different options and opinions and pieces of information that I could take to create my puzzle.
Right.
My legacy is still building.
Amen.
Right.
Amen. 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 All right. T, I appreciate you coming on today.
Anytime, big dog.
Uh, you dropped a lot of little nuggets in there. I hope a lot of you picked up on those nuggets
For sure.
because those nuggets are gold.
Right.
And I hope everybody out there learned a little something from us today. And before we leave today, um, we're gonna have a dialogue. Don, you got 2 minutes to say what's on your mind. You can use the whole 2 minutes, or you can be quick.
I mean, 2 minutes is not enough.
What's on your mind? What grinds your gears?
What tans your hide?
What jabs you in the stomach?
I mean, we all get through stages in our lives and we get to certain points and you got to understand, certain situations and how to get through them. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been going through it. I've been going through a lot of uh, things that I let uh, dictate my movement, my mood, my character, how I move, the things that I do. Uh, and you tend to forget the wins that you're having, right? Because you're so focused on the things that uh, you don't have an idea as far as what the outcome is going to be. Uh, but if you put your thoughts into things that you care about, and I really want to say it, but I can't. But the things that move you, wake you up in the morning, make you who you are, you stop focusing on. So what I'm trying to say today is, I sat back in the last couple of days. I had a couple conversation with people that means a lot to me, and the people that I could trust into giving me information about myself and how I feel mentally, because that's very important out there. And I sat back and we had those conversations, and I came up with what I care about, the things that make me move. And I think about those wins that I'm having in my life, because I'm having a lot of wins, and it's more wins than losses. But we tend to focus so much on those losses. So what I'm trying to say to everybody out there, focus on your wins. Pay attention to where you're winning at. And don't let those wins go in your back pocket. Keep it in your front so you could always pull it out so you know how to get back there. Um, and don't, everything else is outside noise. Everything else is outside noise. It don't make you move. It just depress you. So don't focus on the things that depress you. Focus on the wins and keep winning. And that's what I got on my chest today.
Get the dubs.
Because I was focusing on my loss and not my wins.
Right.
And today I'm down again because, I'm winning. And I've been winning this whole time. So know that. And make sure you keep your circle small and speak to the people that have the information and know you and helped you
with the foundation that you built to give you the advice that you need through life. So don't just talk to anybody. Um, that's what I got to say.
All right. Hey guys, thank you for joining us today. I want to say thank you to all our viewers, everybody that subscribed, everybody that's sharing. Um, we appreciate you guys. Without you guys, we are not successful. We need you to be successful, and we're grateful that you choose us to watch. And hopefully today that uh, someone out there has learned something from us.
And Grenada, I know y'all playing a dirty match.
Big up to
Y'all
Grenada.
fetching out there, man.
Man, the
Watch
Grand
how you.
Carnival is in full swing.
I see
Uh,
out there.
so thank you to Grenada. Thank you to Trinidad.
Much love.
Thank you thank you for our viewers here in the United States. We appreciate you guys 100%. And if you're looking at us from somewhere other than those places that I've mentioned, anywhere in the world,
Comment your home. Comment your home.
thank you for watching. Comment from where you're watching from. We will shout you out. Have a good night.
All right.